Good morning, Grand Rising, everybody. It's your girl Meg with Freedom for All. I am your investigative reporter. I specialize in police brutality, police misconduct, excessive force, and boy, do I have a show for you. Without further ado, let's get it started. Grand Rising, everybody. Greetings and good vibes. It's your girl Meg. This is Freedom for All, a very special episode I have for you today. I am joined by the mother of Eric Holmes, a 19-year-old young man that was shot and fatally killed in Clayton County, Georgia, by a police officer involved shooting with the Clayton County Police Department. This happened on November 21st, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me, Mama. I greatly appreciate it. And it was so nice to meet you, but so sorry under these circumstances.
Thanks, Meg, for welcoming me to speak out about my son and to try and start and get justice.
Yes, that is what our job and our calling is here for. It's a passion that is a lot bigger than us. We are for the people, by the people. And so if we can use our resources to bridge the gap and bring awareness to these cases that, have just not, down in the southern end of the United States, like there's definitely media deserts and you don't hear about these cases. And if you do, these young men are painted as, thugs or, criminals. And that's, simply not the case. They are human. They have people that love them, their sons, fathers, that it goes on, and it just keeps happening, so unfortunately, because these people's life matter. And I'm tired of saying names. I spoke to you this morning about that. It's redundant, and so we have to be the change sometimes. So it's my pleasure to welcome you on the show, just to give you a platform to speak about who your son was and what he stood for as an individual, and then what led him into the situation of the unjust actions of this officer. We stand in solidarity and unity with you, demanding justice from the Clayton County Police Department and demanding an indictment for this officer that shot your son in the back with no moral regard, or de-escalation tactics given. And we also demand that the body cam and the dash cam footage be released to you immediately.
Yes.
So to go right into that, on November 21st, 2022, you said at about 11:30 a.m., the police showed up to your son's job. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And he worked at a warehouse there in Clayton County?
He did.
Okay. And so the police showed up at his job and they had said that he had stolen a vehicle or something like that. Is that correct?
To my understanding, based on the information that I received from the GBI, the police came to his job because it was a tracker that alerted them to a stolen vehicle in the parking lot. When they came to the job, my son came out of his job. He actually had been working, and he came out of his job to see why were they at the car. And that's when the officer told him that the car was stolen. I don't know all of the conversation, but based on reports, the officer stated that it was an altercation. Once the GBI reviewed the body camera, GBI told me it was not an altercation. It was a casual conversation. And he don't know why my son was shot.
And so,
So we know.
to our viewers, just real quick, I apologize. The GBI is the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, everyone. Whenever there's a police officer involved shooting, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations or the state bureau, whichever state you reside in, will take lead in the case. So this is the information that she's receiving from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. I'm sorry, Mama, go ahead.
No problem. So the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, they gave me that information to say that they did have the body camera, and that it was a casual conversation, and not an altercation as they had originally stated. When I found out that my son was dead, the GBI had told me it was an altercation, and it led to my son being shot. After they reviewed the dash camera, they determined that it was not an altercation; it was a casual conversation. And my son was shot in the back. He didn't run away. He walked away and got in the car, and he was shot in the back. And I just don't understand, how does a casual conversation lead to my son being killed? And he was at
Right,
work. If
right,
he would, who would come outside and say, "Hey, officer, I have the stolen car," and then they get on the news and they say, "Oh, well, we found guns in the vehicle after he crashed." So who's going to come outside from work and say, "Hi, officer, I'm the young man with the stolen car. It's me. You know,
right.
you have this big warehouse and all these cars out here, but I'm driving that stolen car over there and I'm going to go get in it." Like, I don't get it. I don't get what the officer was thinking.
What their
I don't
intent
get.
and motive with the situation was
Yeah.
completely.
What was it? If a tracker brought you to the car, why you couldn't track the car if it lead? Why
Right.
you
Or
wouldn't
run the
shoot him?
license plate. Right.
Run the license plates. Go back in the job and say, "Hey, who is that young man that just came out of his job and got inside that car? You know, I want his name. Tell him we're gonna put a warrant out or anything." Like, you didn't
Right.
have to shoot my son. And why would he come out and confront you about a car if he know it's stolen? He could
Right.
have stayed in the job.
Exactly. He could have ran, he could have hid,
He
he
could
could
have
have fled,
ran.
but he
He
chose
could have.
to do it the way that, he was taught to deal with the
Yeah.
police. And
I told him how to deal with him, and I feel like it killed him. I told my child how to respect officers. He even had an officer as a mentor, been his officer for years, because I wanted my child to know how to respect the police, because I knew they was killing them. And I
right,
said, "Eric, I say, you always be respectful. I say, you don't even grab a phone, baby, because if you grab a phone, they may say you grabbing a gun." And
right.
everything I told him to do, he did that day, but he lost his life. He stood there and had a conversation with that officer, a respectful conversation, and you still killed them.
Well, just know, Mama, like you did everything in your power to raise a good, kind, compassionate, caring, loving young man. And the fact that that officer chose to do what he did that day, that is why we demand a second-degree indictment on him for murder charges. There is no way that he did not go there with the intention to kill.
That's what I'm thinking. Cause like, I don't get it. He did everything to you that no one would do. If he stole a car, he could have been out the back door. He could have came and fought you or been aggressive or anything just to get in his vehicle and get away. He came and talked to you.
Right,
GBI said y'all had a casual conversation. In my understanding, they was talking about the police force. My son was talking to him about his job. Like,
right,
you still killed him. He came out of work. So you
right,
mean to tell me he's gonna go to work in a stolen car and come out and talk to you?
right. And so this happened on November 21st. She was not like even able to identify the body. Again, we are hearing these stories over and over again. Um, and you said it took you how long to finally be able to identify the body?
He was killed on November the 21st. I was not able to see him until, and I that day, I'm sorry, my dates are behind. He was killed on November the 21st. They released his body to the GBI on November the 23rd, which was that Wednesday. He did not get released from the GBI until the following week, and I was not able to see him at the funeral home until they got his body prep. So I didn't see him actually until last Tuesday, because they had to get him prepped and things like that. And yeah, I seen him
Okay.
last Tuesday, and we had his funeral on Thursday. But the GBI, they kept him for over a week while they did the autopsy. And
Right.
yeah,
Okay. And so the police officer that fatally shot Eric is now on paid administrative leave, everyone.
he was on
Again,
administrative leave ever since he did it. Ever
again,
since
this
he
is
did it.
Clayton County Police Department. Call them. We will put the number in the comments. Demand justice for Eric Holmes and all lives stolen. This officer should definitely have an indictment. He shot him in the back. This young man was still able to get in the vehicle go down the block. Again, very similar to Dante Wright's situation where he crashed and laid. The mother was then told, go to the hospital. He was not at the hospital.
Yeah, they
They,
told me what they told me, and I'm sorry, Meg, to cut you off,
no,
but
go
what
ahead.
they told me was I pulled up on the scene because someone from his job notified me about 4 o'clock because he had just gotten back to work and said that it was blocked off and they wouldn't let him on. And to his understanding, Eric had been shot that morning. I pull up on the scene after 4. I asked the officer that had the scene blocked. I said, hi, I said, my child was shot down here and I just want to know where he's at. Ma'am, we have it blocked. I don't know where he's at. Call Grady, call Southern Regional. And I'm like, you guys shot him. Like, it was one of your officers that shot him. All I'm asking is, where's my child at?
Right,
Then I had to go to the gas station. And when I went to the gas station, the guy at the gas station told me to go down to the police department, to the headquarters, and they should be
mhm,
able to tell me. So I went to the headquarters, and the 911 dispatcher, she said that she had taken the call and that they transported Eric to Southern Regional. And that's how I found out where my son was. By the time I got there, they said he was already dead. But to my understanding, he was dead on the scene.
right. Wow. And so since then, there has been no answers other than from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations.
And that's correct. And I just got those answers on last week. So I just got those answers right when we were scheduled to bury him. And it still wasn't an answer. It was just confirming to me some of what was on the body camera, and that he don't know why my son got shot, and it was just receiving the answers from the medical examiner to say that, and that's Clayton County medical examiner, to say that the cause of death was he was shot in the back. And I asked her, I said, well, how many times was he shot? Well, they don't give us a detailed report. We have to wait on that to come. We do know that it was a gunshot wound to the back that caused his death, and the cause of death is homicide. That's all I got. um, and then I did speak to their Office of Professional Standards to let me know that they are investigating whether or not the officer was wrong for shooting. The GBI is investigating it, and they're still investigating the charge of the car theft, which we're no longer charging him with the theft of the car, because he had keys. So we have dropped that to theft by receiving. But how are you charging my son and he's dead? But that's
Right.
okay. If you want to charge him and he's dead, that's okay. Like,
If
you
that's
don't,
what it does to make them look better.
yeah, whatever you got to do. But I just need the officer to be held accountable for what he did to my son. That's all.
Right.
That's
Well, we stand in solidarity with you to release the tapes, release the dash cam. Um, as we spoke about earlier, I will work zealously on getting you these right to know requests along with the 911 call and the body cams and the incident report and everything in between.
Please. That's all I want. Like, and a lot of that stuff, I'm out here trying to do what they did. They put my son out as being a car thief. He just paid car insurance on Sunday night. He had a flat tire. I don't know why he was in the car or who let him get the car that he had keys to. I don't understand, but he went to work. So he only had the car evidently to go to work. And all I want is I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna let Clayton County know that they're not gonna stop hearing me. They won't forget my son's name, and I will fight for him. But I just don't know everything else to do. And it's like everyone have you on a wait game. Wait,
Right.
wait. But while I wait, what about my baby?
Right.
What about my baby? I'm waiting, but what about my baby?
Right.
What
He
about
deserves justice. You deserve justice. He didn't deserve,
me?
this life sentence.
He didn't deserve to die. If he deserved to die, or if I had a child that I just, sometimes no one deserves to die. But you got people that go do things and maybe they give you a reason or
Right.
something. Maybe it's something. But I want to know, what was your reason to kill my son? He was at work. What was your
Right.
reason? He ain't never been in trouble. He
Right.
ain't record, no nothing. What was your reason? He had a conversation with you. What would be your reason to kill him? Like,
Right.
what would be your reason to kill him?
Right.
I don't. I just. I don't think I would never get it, but I know that I gotta get it because I gotta keep moving and I
Right.
gotta get back to what I got to do. But I just want answers, and I just want them to release it. Tell the truth. If you guys can tell me as his mother he didn't deserve to be shot, tell the world. Show the truth. That's all
Right.
I'm asking. Don't have me say
Exactly.
my baby didn't deserve to be shot, and y'all ain't saying nothing.
Right. 100%. And you deserve this justice for him. And we definitely will help you by all means necessary. Do you have a Cash App that we could post in the comments just to show support for you during this difficult time?
I have I have a cash app under Leary Sarah. Um, it
Okay.
was cash app he used to use because he was so like with my grandmother. She's 85 years old. He took care of her, and he took care of her friends, and he would go and pull the trash out for them. And
Um,
I'm so strong.
so he was a
Or
Southern gentleman.
man, that boy would get a shirt off his back. My baby boy would say, and he grew up, so he said, Mama, if somebody made Eric mad, I can't help Eric because Eric back friends with him the next day. He forgive you. That's why
Yeah.
I didn't talk to that officer. He didn't see no wrong in nobody. And I taught
Yeah.
him that he was like me, like he didn't see no wrong in nobody. And he'll do anything he can do to help you. But he
Well,
helped
sadly,
everybody.
in this situation, they didn't protect and serve him, which is what they were supposed to do.
He protect and serve him. All you had to do was talk to my son. I promise you. Like, and you talked to him. So what was your need to shoot him? What
Right.
was your need to shoot him?
There's never no causation for justification in situations like this, but especially with a 19-year-old child that was at work, he wasn't bothering anybody. He clearly didn't steal a car. And the fact that they're still trying to paint that picture, even with him gone now, is just disgusting.
That's the only picture they can paint, man. They didn't have nothing else to say about him. They could dig wherever. They can go to his jobs. He worked for Hormel Foods. Hormel Foods still got his name on the locker. And they came to his funeral and said, we won't remove it. This 19-year-old child came in there and worked harder than grown people. He was a hard worker. He
Right.
always and his son, now that you're showing, he was a full custodian dad. His the child's mother, she just turned of age and she just got her full custody back. But Eric raised his son with the help of me.
Um,
I helped him, but he was legitimized through the courts he did. He said, Mama, I just want to be the best father that I
right.
can be. And I told him, I said, son, I said, you're gonna be it. I said, I know you had him young. I said, but you're gonna be a stand-up dad. And he did it. Like
Right.
he did it, and they took him away. Like what they took away, they'll never be able to give back. They don't understand.
Right.
Try and hold strong for everybody else because my grandma 85 and my dad is 65, and
Right.
he's like their biggest support. So I'm trying to hold strong for them.
Right.
But I just want justice for my baby. That's all Eric didn't deserve to die.
Right. Of course. Well, our whole community stands behind you. And, in any way that we can show love, compassion, support, good vibes, prayers, If you just need a shoulder to cry on, if you need somebody to scream at, we are a whole network of individuals throughout the country that are here for you
I
because
think
you're right. He didn't deserve to die.
I thank you so much, and I just want to, if people, right now I don't ask for nothing. I don't even, only thing I'm asking for is to say my child's name. Like, we've already got him buried. That has been taken care of. So right now I'm not asking nobody for anything. Like, I'm gonna get over here and go to work soon. Like, I'll wipe my tears away and I'll go to work and I'll make it as I've been making it. But all I'm asking is for them just to say my baby name and don't let him die because he didn't deserve to die. That's all I'm
Right.
asking. I don't want anything. I just want them to say my son's name.
Right.
Say
And
like the justice because he and tell them to release the cameras because they got it. Like
right.
got it. Just show everyone what he did to my son. That's all I'm asking.
Right. 100%. We demand accountability, integrity, transparency from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, everybody from Clayton County Police Department to the district attorney, Miss Mosley. If she is unable to fulfill her job as the district attorney for Clayton County and unable to try this case, then we demand that she takes it to the state attorney general for Georgia.
Yes.
There's
Well,
always, ways to handle situations. And this is something that cannot, a story that cannot go untold because this young man had his whole life ahead of him. He was a father and to a young son, correct?
yes, he got a 3-year-old son, and like I said, he had him young, but it was the best thing. If I didn't have my grandbaby man, something to look at my son for the way they took him for nothing.
Right.
I don't even know how I would necessarily face it. Um, he was a good father, and they don't have nothing bad to say about him. He was a father actually through the courts, and not because the courts made him be one, but because he went and he filed petition to get his son and make sure that he took care of him.
So he
And
wouldn't be a child in the system. That's very honorable.
yeah, and he's had him from when that child was pregnant. I told him he was young, and I made sure I was right there with him because I didn't want him to feel like it was okay, but I also didn't want him to feel like he was alone, and I wanted him to know that he could still be a father, and no matter how young he was going to be a stand-up father because his mama was going to teach him to do so, and
Right.
he did it, and he went to work. If you pull my baby work history, he always worked. I don't care what job you go to, they got good reports about him. And it's been from when he was a child. Like I said, Hormel kept his name on a locker hoping he would come back. But he had just went back to this job where he got killed at, and he had only been there about 3 months, which he had worked for about a year.
Mhm.
But I just thank you for the answers. Like if you could just
Um,
get
you're
answers.
welcome. Well, I'm going to call the Clayton County Police Department as soon as we get off this live,
Okay.
myself. And then I've also reached out to several different investigators, as well as my friend Jonah that I spoke to you about on the phone. We
Okay.
are going to send in right to know request, requesting the incident report, the 911 video, like the call of how it came through. If we can even get a right to know request for the transmissions between the dispatch and the officer, I'm
Okay.
curious. I'm because that's the only way that for you and for the families is that you're able to paint a clear, validated, factual picture on what happened and led up to this incident. And
And
then
that's what I want. That's
that's
all.
right. It's clarity, it's understanding of the situation because there is any way that we turn this, there's still no value like of them taking his life.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't add up. There's something like missing that we need to be made aware of now.
And that's what I've been trying to tell people. Like they'll ask, "Do you need help?" And do you need help? And I've always worked to do whatever I gotta do. So it's not help for me. I don't need help. Right? I only help I need right now is to find out why my son is dead. And I think everywhere. It's not that I'm saying that I don't need help. I'm saying right now help is the last thing on my mind. The only help
Right,
I think about is just getting this officer held accountable and find out what happened to my son. That's all I
right,
want to do. You said it's cameras. Why are you holding it? I would never
right,
watch a child dying. But
right.
world see. Like I can't watch it, but let the world see. Show the world what you
Right.
did, baby. And
Right. And they owe that to, does your town or does Clayton County happen to have a civilian review board?
I don't know. I've been trying to dig up everything I can. I did get the DA's information. I've been logging down all the information. I've been talking to foremost the Office of Professional Standards and um everyone else. So I've been keeping that information logged, but they haven't given me anything. They haven't
Okay.
told me anything.
Well,
I don't
we're gonna tag Clayton County, all the elected officials in this post. So
know how
they're
so
gonna
much.
hear. Yes, that is, we're here to carry you, and we'll amplify your story, amplify Eric's voice, because, like you said, this is the most, shitty thing that officers can do is kill family members with no regard to who they were as people, the legacy that they left, the children that's left behind that's now growing, up fatherless, the mothers that are suffering due to the fact of losing their children. You know, that's enough to make the world go crazy. And
Broke my
so,
I'm gonna tell you something, man. They broke my heart and I put this camera closer to say it. I know my heart is broken because I felt it.
right. I'm so sorry, Mama. I'm here. Oh, no mother should have to go through this, let alone alone. So again, we demand immediate release of the dash cam tapes, immediate release of
I got
the
it.
body cam.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I just want answers. That's all I want. I just want.
Right,
That's all I want. Like I want to be able to go on, but I can't go on with my life. And
right,
I know what happened to my son. I can't
right.
go on. I can't leave my baby in the ground like that, and I don't know what happened to him. I can't go on.
Well, we are here to get you answers that you desperately deserve. And I want to thank my co-host so much for joining me. I have John Tell, the founder of the Leon Block, here with us as well, and my girl Ghost, that is a survivor of domestic violence, that also works with us on cases. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks so much. Like I'm gonna get better. I promise you. I'm gonna get better, but I just want to know what happened to my son. That's all I want to know, and I just want him to get justice so I can at least know that part is done. I know the officer wrong. GBI done told me. I just want them to do their job. Just do your
Right,
job.
right. And their sworn job is to serve and protect. So they're
Yeah.
not serving and protecting. They're not serving and protecting our communities. They're
So
not serving and protecting anybody, it looks like, but themselves.
yeah, and that's it. And it's not fair. It's not fair.
And this is what, Freedom for All is all about, is bringing light and shining light to these social injustices that are happening across the world, and demanding them be transparent and accountable, not only with the families, but with their communities. Because if we don't connect through community, we're all going to end up hurting.
That's
This
Yeah.
is
right.
not something that happens, once in a while. This is something that's happening every day.
Eric was number 105 to be killed in the state of Georgia. Since Eric, we've had more to be killed. I haven't pulled the GBI list as of lately because my son got me looking at other stuff because I'm like, my son got me looking at other stuff. So Eric was number 105 to be killed in the state of Georgia this year. Like it's not even that many weeks in a year. So that
Right.
means you guys are killing multiple people by the weeks. Like,
Right.
and I'm getting that. Like, how has 105, which Eric made 105 and has been more since him, how can that many people get killed by police?
We need answers, Georgia. This is not making sense. Somebody make it make sense. Why is Georgia and Mississippi coming up with killing the most people? And to say it blatantly, black
Black
people and
people,
people of
black
communities of
men,
color.
black men. And you know what? As a black man, this hurts and it hits home. Miss Holmes, I never want to know your pain. However, I will carry full on the burden of carrying you. and making sure
Thank
that
you.
Eric won't be forgotten, A, and B, understanding that with every black life that they take, they're creating an army of people that are not only ready and willing to take on combating this system. But the more people, like she said, unity and community, the more of us stick together and hold each other and carry each other up and keep fighting and keep saying these names, we
Yes.
will get justice at some point. We will make sure that as long as we're holding people accountable, we will get the things that we need and that we deserve as people. Because one thing they like to do is criminalize and demonize. We know that. We know what they do, right? And
Yes.
one thing we need to continue to do to combat that, they say, love gets rid of hate, right?
Mm-hmm.
We we need to combat this with instead of criminalization, we need to combat it with humanization.
Right.
We need to show them that we're human and remind them that we're human. And you know what? Anger and rage and tears and fighting back. I don't care if you're saying fuck the police, whatever feeling and emotion you feel because you're grieving is valid and it matters.
Right.
But
Facts.
all I ask of you
Mom,
is
wait.
if you ever
Oh,
feel like we're not saying
I'm
his
sorry.
name
I got
enough,
I got a baby here, so pardon me or whatnot. We just got back, and I'm sorry for missing out on half of it, but I'm giving out all my condolences, all my prayers, all my strength to you because, as you see, I have children too, and I just can't imagine losing one of them. So, my condolences goes out to you, Miss Holmes. I'm sorry that this happened to your baby.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Just say his name, please.
Mom, who are you talking to? Justice for,
Eric
Eric
Holmes.
Holmes.
Eric Holmes,
justice for,
Eric
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 Holmes.
Holmes.
Holmes,
no justice.
no
No
peace.
peace.
Thank y'all
Fuck
so
this
much.
racist ass.
Please.
You're
God.
Police, right?
Look, we're
If
gonna
you,
say it. We gonna say it all right about now. These are
that's right.
Right.
streets. Them are
Ms. Holmes,
your
if you
feet.
ever feel like you need to come on and talk about him, if you ever need to call any of us in the middle of the night or reach out, and if you have anything good and that you want to share about him to remind yourself and everyone else who
thank
Eric was, you
y'all.
always have a platform here to share his story or share your testimony, even if you just want to remind someone else or prevent someone else from going through this so they're reminded of them not being alone. You always have a platform and a voice and a mic here.
Well,
Okay?
thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. I really do. And I thank you guys for everything. And I thank y'all for helping with my baby and getting his name out. And I thank you. And that's, I mean, anything I can do because I'm a helper too. Eric had a big heart like me. That's why I fight so hard for my son because he was like his mama. He had a
Right.
like me. He'll do anything for anybody. So I'll still do anything for anybody. I just want the truth to be released about my son.
And we're
Right.
going to get out the truth. We're gonna make sure the truth is coming out to the light.
Thank y'all.
Yes.
But
You're very welcome. And so, just to follow up with everyone, all of our viewers, we are demanding justice from Clayton County Police Department here in or there in Georgia, Clayton County. If you guys could all call the police department, demand that they release the body cam and the dash cam regarding the incident with Eric Holmes, as long as or as well as the DA from Clayton County, Natasha Mosley. She's the one that's able to get an indictment for this officer. If she's not able to, try this case, we ask that she push the jurisdiction to the state attorney general's office. In the comments, we'll put the color of law violation complaints for Georgia, as well as the Justice Department color of law complaint, because as an officer, he is held to a certain standard not to abuse that power. With him shooting Mr. Holmes in the back, that power was abused. Ms. Holmes, I thank you so much for joining me today on this special episode dedicated to Eric Holmes. we will scream his name from the mountaintops for you until we get justice, and even after that.
Thank y'all so much. And will you guys, like, how would I be able to share it so we can share it to get justice too? Is that okay?
Yes, of course. We ask that everybody share this stream. I can send you the link in the messenger comments between you and then you'll be able to share it from there.
Thank you so
Miss
much.
Miss Miss Holmes, do you have Twitter or anything like that that we can also follow? Because if so, I'd be more than happy to share it on Twitter too.
I don't know how to do the Twitter. Eric was my help me with this, Mama. She helped me with my phone, so I I did get an Instagram, and my cousin did that for me. And under that, it says "Say His Name," Eric
Okay.
Holmes. So that's Instagram, and then under Facebook, I have my page open. I think they did him another page, but my page is where I've been posting like all of my when I go out and do the signs and stuff, and it's under my name, Kelvian
Okay.
Home. So I'll
Okay.
invite you to that, and that's all I have. I don't know how. I think I got a Twitter on this phone. I just don't know how to do it.
Okay. Nope.
Well,
You're just like me. I'm slow to technology too. So
I'm like, you give me a computer or anything else, I can access it. But if you get me down to try and access some of these apps, I'm like, I've never been as much social media until my son died. Like, I didn't even have messages. I don't know because I had to do what I gotta do to get his name out there and to clear up what they put out.
right. Yes, well, we stand behind you in solidarity and unity and community. And if there's any way, again, I'll get these right to know requests in today. If we can advocate for you, or help you in any way, shape, or form, please don't hesitate to reach out. You have my personal cell phone number now. So again, in the middle of the night, during the day, in the mornings, anytime, 24 hours a day, please don't hesitate just to give me a call. I'll always be a shoulder or just a listening ear. You're definitely not alone. And that's our goal more than anything here at the Leon Block is to make sure that, none of these families that have been directly impacted by social injustices ever feel alone. And they always know that someone is here to listen, to love, and to lead and navigate this crazy, system with the person, with the directly impacted families.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thank you guys so much for it because we need it. And you'd be amazed, like, how once the media release an image or the people that walk away from you, even your own people, the ones that were questioned. And I'm like, if my child was in a stolen car, would you really say his life is worth a stolen car? Like,
Right.
and this is,
Talk about it.
yeah, like, so it's to have someone that's able to say, hey, we'll put your story out there. I even had now a lot of news, they're coming along, but I'm like, where were you on Thanksgiving week when I was trying to explain who my son was after they labeled him something that I
Right.
knew he was not? Where were you then? Where were
Right.
you calling out, emailing out, saying, hey, they just put my child out here as something he's not? All I want to do is for people to remember him instead of this week going out and they're thinking of him on what was released. And so now I thank God for you guys to just place you here. I feel like that's what it was. Even when you message me, I was at a point where I was so weak because today is my first day. I'm like, I gotta go back to work. Like I gotta work. Like, so I was
Mhm.
forcing myself just to get up and try to go to work, because all I've been doing was out trying to work for Eric, but now I got to go back to like real work.
Right.
So, and I was forcing myself. So when you called, I'm like, oh my God, this is right on time. So I'm gonna get ready to head myself to work now and
Yes, Mama. We're
on
going to
by.
talk, we're going to turn pain into power, and we're going to speak power to these people in positions of power to where they will listen to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all and I appreciate all of you guys. And I was able to see the little chats coming in, so I'm getting better with this, working on.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this stuff, but
You live and you learn, honey, and you arm yourself with knowledge. That's all you can do.
yeah. So thank y'all so much, and I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your girl, Meg. This is Freedom for All. Thank you, Jontel and Ghost. I greatly appreciate you guys.
No doubt. No doubt.
Teacher
You
And
have
until
a blessed, you have a
yeah,
blessed day, Miss Holmes.
you too. Thank you.
all right, guys. See ya.